Brought to you by National Benefit Plans. Detroit Lions corner Terrion Arnold's pretrial was earlier today. The judge set his bond at $1 million. He must be confined to his residence with a few exceptions, including work. Here's the judge. No future court dates were set at this time. Ex-Pistons guard Malik Beasley has been indicted for a sports betting scheme where he was allegedly bribed to fix his performance. According to Cody Davis of the Detroit News, he's set to surrender voluntarily by Wednesday. His attorney, Steve Haney, told the News, quote, Malik is very disappointed. He was anticipating potentially signing with a team this week in free agency, and now this is obviously going to be a barrier, end quote. The Tigers start a series against the Yankees in New York. Casey Mize and Ryan Weathers will battle on the mound. In his last start against New York, Mize surrendered 4 earned runs and 8 hits in 5 2/3 innings. That was just last week. 7:05 the first pitch, and you can hear it right here on 97.1. The round of 32 continues today in the World Cup. Brazil just won their game against Japan 2-1 in the 95th minute. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Jeremy Otto. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Okay, hour 2. If you're just joining, we're trying to thread a needle. Obviously, terrible news that we found out the other day, and out of respect for the family, waited, and Kenny passed. So we've gotten, obviously, calls, texts. We've talked about it. Try to honor Kenny the best way we can, which is with some laughter, with some stories, and just, yeah, we're all, it's equal parts shock and also just heartbreak, because you guys who listen to the show, you understand how we run things, and we don't have a separation of church and state, behind the glass and not. Like, that's just how I've always viewed radio. I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and you use your cast members and you have a good time, and Kenny had really grown into something that was fun, and he was finally getting it. And David, who had the day off today but was kind enough to come in for the first hour, David and Kenny sit 3 feet from each other 25 hours a week. You form a relationship that's unique. And TJ Lang called in hour 1, and it's dude, you're not always going to love your teammates. You're going to battle, but they're your teammates, and you just get after it. And that's kind of what this is. And there are similar aspects of that with other jobs. It's just, it won't be the same. And I have no idea what we're going to do. And I don't even want to think about it. I'm not even close to being at that point to think about it. I said it to you today, I'm not being rude or when I say this, understand why I'm saying it is, I don't want to talk about it, because grief is not supposed to be broadcast. I just want to not talk about it, but I know we have to. No. Out of respect to Kenny's family and Kenny and his memory, we have to be the ones to deliver it. Part of me is I'd rather just go quiet, because that's how I am. It's really hard.
No, just pre-show today was just weird and different. And I was sitting there talking to Evan and said something to you, and you're like, yeah, I'm not under Mike Ryan said, but you made a great point, but honestly, I don't care about that right now.
Yeah, no, and I wasn't being a Richard to you.
And I realize, I get it.
There's an absurdity in going from talking about, a friend and coworker and a member of your team that you lost, and then, oh, by the way, Yzerman's garbage. There's something that's obscene about that juxtaposition, and yet I know that's what we need to do, and I will get there. I just want to make sure the people that have been kind enough to call in, we take those calls, and you know what I'm saying?
No, I get it, Mike, and I think that, ironically enough, I think maybe Kenny left us with a layup for the easier transition, because there is hockey talk, there is Yzerman talk, there is Larkin talk. So, you know what? It's kind of what we would be talking about if Kenny was here.
I wish he was here. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Even the last few weeks, and he was battling, and I guess it's just without him here the last almost month, while it was different, there was always an expectation of he'll be back. And you just, people go through things and they, medical events happen and life is unpredictable. And it's so different knowing he won't be.
Yeah. That's the sad reality.
That's what really hits you in the face. And it's tough, man. It's really hard. And it's hard because you're sitting here and it's like, Rico, you and I talk all the time, but like when things happen in life, you get a blessing of a level of like privacy where you handle them in your private life. Like you're on stage for something that is not meant to be on stage. You know what I mean? And that's the tough part. And it's just one of those things. This is what we do. So let's get to some of the calls. I want to make sure we round those calls out. People have been kind enough to they have something to say about Kenny. We'll do that. And then it'll be a totally unnatural, maybe borderline obscene transition into sports talk where I'll do the best I can for you guys. But yeah, no offense, Yzerman or Scott Hare, none of that matters. It's not real. It's just not. None of it's real. No. We'll go to the people. We'll go to John, 97.1. John, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? I don't call in a lot. I do listen all the time, though. And, I'm not really good with words, so just bear with me with what I'm trying to say, right?
Of course.
So, you guys broke this news. It sucks. And I know the other shows don't have any obligation to do it. But, we're not mourning his death. We're celebrating his life and the contributions he gave to your guys' show. Loved the dude. Met him a couple times. Bought him a couple beers one time. He was just a great guy, man. I miss Kenny. I think the last time I did talk to him was on a Saturday show. It was him and Stoney doing like blind rankings. And I had called the day prior, and he let me on anyway. And I told him, thank you, man. Love you. And those were the last words I said to him. I was wondering where Kenny was, but I didn't want to ask when I call. And, it sucks, man. And what really sucks is he's not going to be able to see this team, the Red Wings, win the Stanley Cup, if they ever do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know he's a big hockey guy. He's never going to see them win. It sucks, man. And John, believe me, I get the sentiment. I'm just far sadder about the other things he's not going to get to see or do or experience. Like I just perspective changes. I don't know if it's like I'm over the midway point. It's just midlife crisis of like you view things differently. Like it hits me so hard because he's the same age as one of my sisters, and it's unthinkable because like I always tell her. Like young people like, oh, I'm falling behind or I'm not doing good enough. And I'm like, look, man, life doesn't start till 30. You haven't even started. Like they haven't even opened the gates yet. And that's the same principle with Kenny as it was just starting. And God, that's why it hits me even harder. It's just that 30 is, dude, you're a baby. Yeah. It's the truth, man. So I hear you about the Red Wings, but believe me, I'm far sadder about other stuff.
Yeah, but you got to remember our listeners, they know Kenny is.
I know. No, I know. Yeah. I know. Believe me.
And it's just funny because I'm like, I tell you this all the time. Like, Mike, there's so much more that you're going to experience. Yeah.
Let's go to Dom, 97.1. Dom, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? Mike, Rico.
Hey, Dom.
Yeah, man. This news absolutely sucks, man. Mike, I've been listening to your show for over a decade now. I don't think there's ever been a time I've been more sad listening to your show. Just want to lay out a couple points. I remember clear as day when Kenny joined the program, and over time, you can just kind of just hear his confidence growing about the show. And, he started leaning more into the jokes.
Yeah.
No matter how absurd they were. And like you said, Mike, it's not, he had so much more to live for. And you could just see the progression in Kenny almost every time you listen to the show. And just from afar, man, like I was just so rooting for people, and you root for people like that in general. But you know, TJ made a point earlier how you guys have this locker room type vibe, which is very obvious if you just if you're a fan of the show and listen to you guys, that's clearly evident. But from a listener standpoint, you guys are like those group of guys at the bar that you see every week. You don't necessarily hang out outside of the bar, but when you see each other, it's always good conversation, good laughs. And, I like to, the parallel for that is, with you guys. And it's like you're losing that guy at the bar that you're not going to see anymore. And it's just super unfortunate. And, when I heard Kenny for the first time on Saturdays with Stoney, first of all, I thought that was just, that's an outstanding pairing, those two right there. But just listening to him and just seeing him and listening to him round into form, Mike, like you said, he had all the potential in the world. And the kid really he didn't know how good he was going to be. And I'm so glad that you brought up the point that you believed in him so much and you just kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him.
He didn't always like it, but yeah, Dom, that was the whole thing is if I see somebody's got it, I'll be damned if you're not going to see it through. And it's just, I wish there was more time because he was. I mean, they didn't put him on Saturdays by accident. It's a process.
Well, 100%, man. And I'll just wrap it up with this, whether, from his drops to you guys busting his balls about, him being a cold cut extraordinaire, possum stew, all the stuff that Kenny brought to the table. It's going to be just severely missed. His hockey knowledge and his hockey acumen, is just going to be severely missed. He just brought such a different, vibe and just different type of energy to the show. And that's not something you guys are going to replace. No. It's just something you guys are just going to cherish going forward. And I just want to send my condolences and, all the best to you guys, 97.1, his family, his friends, girlfriend, anyone who had any interaction with Kenny Cott. I wish I had the pleasure of meeting the guy, but, we lost a good one today, boys, and we just got to take it day by day at this point. Thanks for having me on.
Dom, appreciate
it, Dom.
Very nice of you. All right. So I guess we'll try to do what we talked about. We'll try to switch gears and provide people with some normal. And I don't know about you. I could use the escape. So that's what we're going to attempt to do. By the way, none of what we're talking about next means anything. Remember that. Okay. But we'll do it. So I'll let Rico spin the wheel. You pick, and I'll try to deliver the best I can. 97.1. All right. So this is maybe this is the right transition because this is what Kenny would want to talk about.
Yeah.
We can do the Yzerman thing if you want. And like I said, I don't know what's left to say is how I would start it. Meaning you trade the 20, you trade a guy who was supposed to be this superstar future at goalie because he got passed up in the system.
Right.
So you trade him for the 23rd pick and you take a guy who won't be here for 3-4 years. You know what my problem is with that? Yzerman just drafted a player for a new GM. I would love to hear from Red Wing fan and the hockey elite. What are we doing here? Like Yzerman's comments about Larkin and making no promises. Can I just I want to give you my view of Steve Yzerman. Mm-hmm. He is living in 2010. He has not arrived in the year 2026. He is a general manager who is not living in the current state of the NHL. Am I wrong to feel
Mike,
that way?
Mike, I think that's actually a great point because it reminds me a lot, and you saw all, especially in college hoops, all the coaches who just said, I don't want to do this NIL. I don't want to do this transfer. Mm-hmm. This isn't the game that I grew up coaching. You guys can have it. I'm walking away. And some said, great, we'll take up the mantle and run with it. But like the Coach K's, I'm not putting up with this. This is foolish. This is nah.
Yzerman is Mark D'Antonio. I mean, that's where I just feel like this guy, you're not going to bully Larkin into playing here. What are you going to do? I want you to spell this out to me. So you're going to bring him back, strip him of the C, put him back in the locker room, and you think that's going to work? Or worse, you bring him back, he doesn't play, and he upends your entire franchise. You weren't good enough with him. You're not going to be good enough without him. And who are you signing this summer? I can't believe we're sitting here after the draft and they didn't get something done. And then the best he can offer us is no promises.
What I heard, what I saw was a couple things. One, I think a lot of people need to get on Team Rico. He's going to be in camp.
No.
Larkin will be there because Steve is saying, I'm going to make your life uncomfortable. Either you expand who we could trade you to, or not only will you be here with no C on your chest, but you're going to be here because there's no guarantees. You're still under contract for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
so
but see that comment he made, that you know what that is? That's bully.
It is.
That's ego and bullying. And
remember, Mike.
But this is the age of player empowerment. You can't bully players anymore, Steve.
I understand, but Steve has gone full spite store. So you're going to show up, or you expand this list and let me move you to wherever I can get the best deal, and you accept it. Other than that, I'm going to make your life a living hell.
But he has expanded the list. That's the problem.
Yeah, I get it, Mike. But when I heard that statement, that told me everything. He ain't going nowhere. Not anytime soon.
I'd love Wings fans now that the draft is done. Where is this going? You know, you finally got to hear from Yzerman briefly. The idea he was going to answer hockey questions. Yeah, okay. Just Larkin, get it done. But where is this going as free agency begins in a few days? What free agent is coming here? Like, with this as the backdrop, who even likes Steve Yzerman anymore in the agent community, in the player community? So if you haven't traded Larkin and you're not going to be able to sign big free agents because Steve is yet to sign one, look, you think Patrick Kane is going to re-up for more of this? Oh, he wants to play again. I just don't think he wants to play here. And that's before we get to the guys you got to get out of this lineup, like JT Compher and his like 5 hits more than Kane, which is basically 5-0. Mm-hmm. Like, I just feel like he's running this into the ground.
He is.
His stubborn, rigid, I feel personally, just a personal feeling, his out-of-touch nature to where the game is, I would love to hear from the dyed-in-the-wool Wings fans. Go ahead, Paulie. You look like you're poised to just rip the microphone and throw it into the parking lot.
I just don't understand his line of thinking. And like he said, he there's no guarantees. He's worried about the health of the franchise. What does it say about you as a GM that you're getting in essentially a peeing contest with your best player? It's how is that beneficial to your franchise at all?
Paul, it's not. It is full spite. But once you realize that that's what it is, it's easy to see that he's not going to move. He's not going to budge. It's going to be my way or I'll burn this thing to the ground. And now it's up to Larkin to see, okay, are you going to acquiesce to this and bend the knee and show up to camp and play good little soldier, or do you drag this thing out?
I know, but unfortunately for Steve, Larkin's the first guy abandoning the ship, and guess who goes down with the ship? The captain.
Well, that's the other thing, boys. I mean, people are already circling around DeBrincat, and he's due a deal. I mean, you can use the card of DeBrincat's from here, and he's raising a young family, but if he sees what's going on with Larkin and Kane walks out the door, why would I take first of all, why would the organization pay a guy $12 a year when they're clearly rebuilding? This is my problem. The fact that Rico's not wrong, guys, is everything wrong about this, okay? That's my point. Yzerman is out of touch with current reality of the NHL. Players have the power. You do not. And by the way, if Steve can't get a good deal, then he's not a good GM. Larkin's on a value contract of $8.7 million. I know that doesn't feel that way, but considering Jason Robertson just turned down $15 a year from Seattle, the cap is rising quickly. That's a value contract. Oh, and by the way, it was front-loaded. So the financial commitment is less than the cap hit. You waited until after the draft. So now you have essentially taken meaningful draft compensation in the now and punted on it. So who's dealing you this multitude of NHL caliber players? I really don't know what he's doing.
That I don't know. And then at least, Mike, maybe there's an option C. They kiss and make up. And somehow it's no big deal. They go and bring somebody here.
Do you want to put odds on that?
That they kiss and make up? No. I'm just saying
that better be like Cape Verde winning the World Cup. I need like plus 50,000 on that. 248-539-9797. I'd love to hear from Wings fans. Just a little bit. We'll get to the Tigers and some other stuff. I don't know where this is going. I admit it. I got snookered. I believed Larkin would be dealt at the draft. I really did.
You aren't the only one.
Shame on me.
It's okay.
But now, I mean, if you go into free agency where your captain wants out, who are you even signing? This guy might be driving this into Middle Earth. He has no timeline. I'll say it again. You could love the Kosa deal, but it speaks to he has no accountability and no timeline. You traded a prospect that's going to be in the NHL next year. Okay, you passed him up in your system. Fine. You didn't trade him for a player. And you're picking 23rd. Please don't spin this that the 23rd pick in the draft is going to be here next. Just stop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sign Kosa.
248. Yeah. Great. 248-539-9797. Rico, go ahead.
Imagine Wi-Fi so intelligent it can help you heal itself when there's a problem. Imagine reliable coverage in every corner of your home. Whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, or connecting all your smart devices, enjoy a Wi-Fi built for speed and powered by fiber. It's Wi-Fi that helps make everything in your home work together. And with advanced security features, it's like a super security blanket for your network, helping protect what matters most. Behind it is all fiber-powered network, delivering 99.999% reliability, paired with our best equipment for the most reliable Wi-Fi experience. Plus, you can get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. And with our 5-year price lock guarantee, you can lock in 5 years of predictability. The same price with no contracts or commitments. Everything you need is included: data, equipment, and the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
All right, Paul, give us a few of the texts. I'm just trying to canvass Red Wing Nation. The draft comes, it goes. Costa being dealt, not a surprise, but being dealt for a pick, that doesn't make you better. And then Larkin is still here. Yzerman's comments. I just feel like I'm watching what I dealt with at State with Mark D'Antonio, refusing to change, refusing. You know, you could use the example like Rico. I think it was a great point. The college coaches who hate where the sport is, but instead of leaving, Yzerman's just tripling down on it. He's very Izzo-like.
Yeah, I was about to say he's more like Izzo, where I'll do it reluctantly, where some of the coaches were like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And you saw all the Hall of Fame coaches just walk out the door and say, no, where Steve is, I'm going to force you to play on this team, and I'm going to humiliate you by taking away the C, and you're just going to accept this, or you better let me make a deal with any team that I want to.
Yeah.
You don't get to dictate things. I do. I'm the real cap.
But that's the problem. You're not. You gave him the no trade clause. He gets to dictate. Steve just strikes me as someone who doesn't like the state of the sport, and unfortunately, he can call the wambulance because this is the state of the sport. The NBA has arrived in the NHL, and hockey fan doesn't like it. Player empowerment. Players are controlling their future. Hockey guy has never had to deal with that, especially Lord Yzerman.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, part of what's going on. And I hope like hell a trade gets pulled soon, because if it goes into free agency, Rico, I don't know what you think you're doing. Teams are going to build their rosters, and they'll just say to hell with your player. Mm-hmm. Now, Steve says it's my job to be a steward of the organization. I am not arguing your point about going to camp. What I am going to argue is if that's in the best interest of the organization. As they say in the commercial, at least Doug Jr. spelled insurance right. He did not. That is not in the best interest of this organization. So we can at least agree on that.
No, we are agreeing upon that. But I'm not hockey elite, but I was like, this thing looks like it's going to go through camp, and he's going to expect him to show up and be there, and probably say
what? You want to put him back in that locker room? You really think you're going to strip him of the C, put him in that locker room? A, the teammates are going to respect it, and B, what? He's going to lay it on the line for the winged wheel?
I mean, to me, it looks like, seems like, feels like, just me, my speculation. Yes, this is me showing you who's the boss here.
But he doesn't get to do that.
I understand.
Okay.
But I don't think he understands.
I'll get to the phones, or Paul, go ahead, quick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't really understand where he's coming from. And to your point about like the NBA's come to the NHL, it's kind of surprising it's taken this long, because Isaiah Joe makes almost the same amount of money as Connor McDavid per year. Like, these guys should be, if they're going to get paid as little as they do for the beating they take during the season, playing a much more physical sport than baseball or basketball, then I'm more than okay with them trying to dictate like what's going to make them happy. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Yzerman doesn't really have a say, because he could literally veto anywhere Yzerman wants to send him. He sort of does have most of the power. Not all of it, but most of it.
Let's go to the people. Go to Ryan and A Squared, 97.1. Ryan, how are you?
Hey, guys. Really tough show today. Thoughts and prayers with Kenny's family and friends. As a huge hockey fan, I always used to come here for Kenny's thoughts on the Wings. He was so talented, man, and really knowledgeable guy, so really going to miss him. And just huge props to you, Mike, and Rico for obviously prefacing that, whatever sports talk we do today is secondary to the reality.
It totally is. It's just you're trying to thread a needle, and I don't know that we'll do a decent job with it, but it's kind of just one of those days. It just doesn't matter where you turn, and you don't feel like you're making the right move. I'm being totally straight with you.
Yeah, and I'm going to do my best too, just because, it's tough on a day like this, but I guess I'll just try.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, as far as the Wings go, I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be honest, it's not even about the move that happened, because I think inherently it was a good trade in terms of the value and the player that they took. That's all well and fine, but the timeline just looks like really super weird to me right now and choppy, and they lack that star power. And, this operation, I think, requires a lot of creativity and GM work, which Yzerman hasn't really shown an ability to do here. And I just think the amount of creativity, because we saw a lot of it on draft day with the amount of trades that happened, I've never seen that from Yzerman here. And it's one of those things where there needs to be a lot of deals and contracts in and contracts out for this to really work and improve in a fast manner. What do you guys think?
Well, that's my whole thing is I think people start debating the wrong thing to try to be right. No one's arguing the value proposition of Kosa for the pick, and you like the player because he's skilled. He's not the kind of sterile two-way player that he's been drafting with limited upside. But Ryan, that's the whole point is, okay, this idea of the Larkin trade, I'm not telling him to take a bad deal, but the whole league is moving at warp speed. Why is it all these other GMs can get things done and we're sitting here where Steve wants to be Conan the Barbarian? It just doesn't make sense to me.
I guess I just have a question, though, for you guys, because it's relative to the Larkin thing, and maybe so also the way that Yzerman kind of operates, just because he is so difficult to deal with in these negotiations. Because Larkin is probably one of the top players on the trade market, do you think that in any sense of the word that it's beneficial to have a guy like Yzerman where it's so difficult to deal with and he's bound to get a good trade if he was to make one? It's just, for me, I want the best deal possible, and I think Yzerman actually is a good candidate to have in that way with how difficult he is in negotiation, that, okay, maybe we'll get the best trade available.
Yeah, okay. Yes, it helps to have someone that's a tough negotiator, but I think you've seen this with the Tigers and Scott Harris as well. There's a fine line between being a tough negotiator and an unreasonable one.
A good way of putting it.
That's my fear. And Ryan,
I understand that,
right now, it sure feels like, sounds like, he's unreasonable. He wants a deal that the market is not going to bear. And now that you've passed the draft, I'll say it to you again, teams are going to begin building their rosters and just say to hell with Larkin. I mean, do you remember at the start of this? There was going to be a feeding frenzy for Larkin, right? Mm-hmm. And it had gotten to a point in the days leading up to the draft where even The Athletic was like, look, he should have been traded, but we're just moving him down our list because we don't feel like it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like that's on your GM.
Because I think other GMs are seeing, Mike, what I see, what you see, and the listeners are seeing. There's no sense of urgency that he wants to get this done.
The Kosa deal tells you that. Yeah. I'm being serious. The Kosa deal, the idea that this guy, where it should be a code red, and you trade a goaltender I can't act like there were 15 teams lining up, but a franchise thought enough of Kosa to give you a first-round pick. I have to believe there was a way to deal Kosa to get NHL help. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe you have to add something. Maybe you got it. But the point is, there feels like there's a lack of creativity emanating from the world headquarters with this franchise. And that's where, great, in 3 or 4 years, I guess this player we took will be wonderful. Will Yzerman even be here? Because if they don't make the playoffs this year, is he here again? That's the folly. We'll get to some of the calls, and we'll continue along. Biggest stage in the world, FanDuel. They've got tons of different ways to play the World Cup. I mean, we know Rico has been the Cape Verde team sponsor. They also have the football super sub where you bet a player to score. They get taken off. No problem. Your bet's still good. FanDuel.com/Michigan to get started now. Let there be goals. 21 and up, present Michigan. You have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we'll get to the people here. Paulie, in for David. What are the texters saying? And again, there's no yelling or screaming. It's just I'm trying to understand where Red Wing fan is and where their confidence level is that somehow, some way, magically, they're going to be better next year. Because this Larkin, you can't have an off season until the Larkin thing is handled. There's no functioning way to do it. Go ahead, Paul.
So this is from an unnamed texter. To me, this isn't about Yzerman. It's about Larkin signing a contract with Yzerman's franchise. So you guys want Yzerman to just go against his own contracts? Tired of this way of thinking.
Okay, that's fine. First of all, it's not Steve's team. Steve does not have the money to own this team. Second of all, Steve signed the player to a contract. Yeah. A contract that player is exercising the power he has of saying, I'd like to be traded, and I get to dictate where. I apologize that the world has evolved. Okay, this isn't Gordie Howe, and all he wanted instead of a raise was a new winter jacket. All right, it's just, guys, this is where the league is. Your GM is the only one who seems incapable of playing by the new rules. So, yes, I do want Yzerman to do that. Because, unfortunately, as a general manager in professional sports today, baseball's the only one that has a true grip on player movement because of arbitration and pre-arb years. Football, we're seeing more trades. NBA, it's player empowerment.
Yeah.
In the NHL, it's bled over. Go ahead, Paul.
This is from Dave in Grand Blanc. The Red Wings are the Bengals. It's a hamster wheel where they're perpetually stinking now.
It's kind of, yeah, and that's my point is I don't think the winged wheel carries any cachet. And I'm not being disrespectful. The original six used to matter. The Red Wings used to matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't.
No, you're right. The Red Wings was the equivalent of the
Yankees.
The Yankees, the Celtics,
Lakers.
the Lakers.
Yes.
Right, the Cowboys.
Yes.
It's one of those teams where it meant something to say you play for this team.
Let's get to the people. Go to Ben, 97.1. Ben, how are you?
What's up, Mike?
Hey,
Sorry
Ben.
for you guys lost, man.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on Yzerman. First of all, with Kenny, you guys, I'm telling you, man, I know you're a big Stern guy, Valenti. Kenny was Jackie.
Oh, the joke man.
Listen to your show. Yeah, Kenny was Jackie. Your guys' chemistry, dude.
It had gotten so fun because, man, Ben, I had no idea what was on his soundboard, and he would just drop some gems on us, and I'm like, all right, he's really starting to get it now. The timing of it,
But the way you guys play, you guys would play it off perfectly. I mean, everyone, you and Rico and David. I mean,
yeah, it's just it's
It
years,
was beautiful.
it's
It was
years
beautiful.
together. It can't be replaced. It's it's.
Yep.
I appreciate the fact that you understand what goes into it. So go ahead with the second part of the call, brother.
So yeah, so Yzerman. I mean, you've pinpointed on it, Mike. Just, dude, you got to evolve, man. You got to evolve. You got to evolve. The biggest thing to me is the history and these players don't give a. I almost said it. These players don't give a damn about that anymore. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I think for the latter, they don't. It's about winning. It's about winning, Steve. You're not winning. You're not putting the chemistry out there. I mean, the player, like you said, free agency. Who the hell wants to come here?
Nobody. And it's not even a good free agent year.
Yeah.
That's the other problem.
Right. It's horrible. It just.
Look, my whole point in this,
Take a bet. Yeah, go ahead.
and Ben,
Go ahead.
maybe it's counterintuitive, but like I'm actually the one who's tired of the rebuild. Yet I think the right move for the franchise is a rebuild of the rebuild. I know that sounds insane, but they don't have
Where the hell else are we at, Mike?
Right.
Where the hell else are we at right now? Yeah.
They don't have a top six. Your 1A center captain wants out. I still have no understanding why DeBrincat would stay. Oh, but he's got a young family. I understand, and he'll have more money than God. He can fly back here anytime he wants. Ben, I just feel like the rebuild's the move, and I don't know what he's holding out for. I don't know what trade. I hope we are all wowed. Like we're wearing 3D glasses. I hope we are all just like, whoa. whoa, when this
He
deal
had a
happens.
plan the whole time.
Mike, and Mike, I know there's a ton of call it. Just one last thing. Yzerman has grown into arrogant stupidity to me at this point.
I think it's similar to what I witnessed with D'Antonio at the end. It feels a little bit like Izzo. It's just, dude, if you don't want to do it the way that it's done, then just leave. You don't need to be here. You can go live a happy life. And you know what? It didn't work as a GM. You're still one of the greatest handful of players to ever play here. But like this idea that he's just going to keep doing it his way, I ask you again, for a team that doesn't have a top 6, how are you better next year?
Yeah. See, I like the D'Antonio because at least if you just did things the way it's supposed to do and you complained about it, that would be the Izzo way. D'Antonio was just like, I'm not doing this.
That's fair. You're right.
Izzo
You're
has
right.
made changes. He just complains each and every step to let you know I had to make a change and I didn't like this move.
Yeah. No, you're very right. We'll go to Dennis, 97.1. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, how are you?
All right, Dennis.
What everybody seems to be missing is Pat Verbeek was with Yzerman in Florida, and he brought him to Detroit with him. And he was here a few years before he left to go be GM. Yzerman had said that Verbeek was really good at evaluating players. He had to do like with player acquisition, draft, and such. And I noticed things haven't gone as well in the draft since.
No, their player personnel stinks. I mean, Draper and company, everybody back there. I mean, their player personnel is right in line with the Tigers. It's awful. MLB, NHL, the pro scouting, the pro personnel, it's dreadful. Both franchises. So, yeah, Dennis, you're not wrong. And unfortunately, yeah, the GM is responsible for putting a staff together that can supplement their abilities. And instead, does it feel a little bit too kind of family dinner? Yeah, it does. Now, if guys are doing the job, that doesn't matter. But again, his D'Antonio thing is spot on. What did Mark start to do? Just having his golfing buddies around. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Dennis, I just care about the result. I'm at a point now, we've exited the draft. Larkin is still here, and your GM is still publicly trying to be the godfather of, well, he has 5 years left on his deal. No promises. Yeah. What planet are you on? Meanwhile, okay, take it to camp. Fine. Let's say you want to play it out, Dennis. What's your plan for the summer to get better? What free agent is coming here? You don't even know what your cap situation is based on is Larkin here or is he not?
Mike, I think he's been so focused on Larkin, he's almost forgotten about the rest of the team and the rest of the year. And you're right. It feels very like, remember when D'Antonio did took his staff, put them in a bag,
new
shuffled
positions.
them up, and said, okay, new positions, everybody.
He dumped
go.
out the bag and he said, shake and bake, and I helped. You're like, wait, Jim Bowman's coaching corners? Like, what is this?
Right, like, this is not going to work, but okay.
Noted.
And that's what it feels like with this is
fair.
This thing is just not going to happen. This season is going to be over before it even starts. I feel sorry for the fans and paying customer Costa because you're
yeah, but at this point, Jim is becoming a sucker.
You know what?
Because if you just bitch about it nonstop, but you still cut the check, at some point you need to look at the man in the mirror.
Paul, as we like to say, the streak continues. He's right.
Right, you know. We have a Paul Sarah sponsored segment next.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you excited?
I am. I've heard.
You'll like this.
But I've never been allowed to play the game because, quite frankly, I don't think Paul likes me.
Okay, then. 97.1.
Brought to you by Moran Buick GMC. Lions corner Terrion Arnold's 3-hour pretrial today ended with this from the judge. At $1 million for all his counts combined, his conditions include he cannot have any contact with co-defendants or witnesses, surrender his passport in 48 hours, and be confined to his residence with the exception of work, court dates, or lawyer appointments. They've also allowed him to proceed without a GPS tether. The judge says he has, quote, a paparazzi monitor, end quote, and if he violates his bond, everyone will know about it. No future court dates were set at this time. Per Shams Charania, ex-Pistons guard Malik Beasley has been indicted for a sports gambling scheme that included point shaving and prop bets. He's expected to voluntarily surrender. The Pistons have picked up team options for guard Danis Jenkins and center Tolu Smith. After going 500 on their 10-game homestand, the Tigers hit the road in New York tonight. Ryan Weathers faces Casey Mize here on 97.1 at 7:05. Here's the lineup: Vierling, Dingler, McGonigal at the top, Torkelson, Lee Jones in the middle, McKinstry, Malgeri, and Outman at the bottom. The round of 32 in the World Cup began and continues today. Brazil defeated Japan 2-1. The Lions are releasing Terrion Arnold, according to Ari Meroff as well. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Jeremy Otto.
Yeah. Okay. Paul Sarah's segment's got to wait. So this is part of. I want to be careful because obviously my mind's in other places, and I don't want to say something that's too off-brand here. This is what my annoyance is with society. So this morning, Terrion Arnold, won his hearing that he did not have to stay in jail, and he's out on bond, $1 million.
Right.
They're not going to do an ankle monitor because he's an NFL player, like the paparazzi monitor. I thought it was a brilliant line by the judge.
It was.
But that has no bearing on the case. And I was talking with Evan, and you have fans like victory lapping it. Like, he could show up to camp, and I'm like, do these people just not have any understanding of how planet Earth works?
No. It's very tribalism. It's us versus the world.
Well, cutscene, the Lions have released Terrion Arnold. So I guess it's going to be tough for him to show up to camp. Mm-hmm. He's not employed by the team. I just want to remind you of something. The feds convict at like a 98% rate. They don't diddle around. They don't throw Hail Marys. They don't throw YOLO balls. This isn't Judge Judy where Bob is suing Janice for a shingle and a shoe. They develop a case and they bring these charges. He is facing up to life in prison. So I never understood the connection that was being made today, but now he's been released.
Because, Mike, every time something happens to everybody's favorite athlete, it's free fill in the blank. Oh, he's getting railroaded. No, these are some serious charges. This isn't, he got pulled over for speeding. This isn't something ridiculous. This is something where, life sentence is being attached to it potentially. This is kidnapping and all types of things. And I do like the line that the judge says, like, I don't have to give you a monitor. They're going to let me know if you're late for practice. It'll be all over ESPN. The Lions are finally getting ahead of this. I think they regret saying what at least Dan Campbell regrets. We talked to Terrion and, so long as he's up front with us, he's our guy type of thing. And now, you're going to have to release him because there's no way he can show up to practice and not have everybody ask him about this, ask the coaching staff about this. This is the Lions doing something smart. He could not be on this team.
There's no way.
No.
And again, before you get mad or yell or, innocent until proven guilty, listen, you're right, in a court of law. The Detroit Lions are not a court of law. The Detroit Lions are not going to have a player facing life in prison practicing. Every player, as Rico just said, will have to answer excruciatingly ridiculous questions. Right. It was never going to happen. Plus, let's be very clear. They already look kind of silly based on what Dan Campbell said a few months ago. We played the audio last week.
Yeah.
Would you really double down on that?
You can't double down on that. That's why this was – I was wondering – I thought the Lions would simply tell him, don't show up to camp, handle your business, praying to God that the NFL would put him on the exemption list so they wouldn't even have to do this move, and they could just say, hey, Tarian, we believe in you, but, the mean old guys at the NFL said you can't show up here. As the Lions being responsible, say, you can't be here. Sorry.
I think it's the right
part
move,
of this
right move for the organization, especially too, and I know this isn't as important to fans, some fans, but if an organization is going to preach about having high character guys, that's a phrase you always hear out of Rotunda Drive. Hey, bottom line, you couldn't possibly have this guy here, period. Not to mention the fact there is a next to 0% shot that his football career is not at a minimum deeply impacted. That's before we get to the NFL's procedures and being on the exempt list and the whole bit. Yeah. Okay? It's pretty clear the feds are not going to bring this cavalry of charges and be wrong on all of them. That's just data. Mm-hmm. So I actually think the Lions did the right thing. And look, you're not rooting against a 23-year-old. Maybe he can beat the rap on a reduced level. Maybe someday he can play ball again. He ain't lining up for you this year. And I'm not going to turn the most important Lions training camp in the last few years, I'm not turning that into a circus. Because here's the other news. Now, if you think, if I'm overstepping, say it. Rico Beard.
I thought you were going to hearken.
No, I don't need to hearken.
Okay.
I want you to tell me, Michael, you're out of order. Okay. Rico.
Please be out of order. Please be out of order.
Okay. I might be. They don't make the playoffs this year? You're talking regime change. Didn't say you're doing it. You're talking.
Okay.
You're
No.
thinking it.
Okay. I was about to say, what
NFL
see the
coach
Lions.
is allowed to go 3 years without winning a playoff game and 2 years straight without missing the playoffs?
Because there's only so many times you could say, we were 30 minutes away from the Super Bowl.
Correct.
That was a while ago, sir.
Correct. And again, for Brad Holmes, it's the same thing.
See, I think for Brad, the seat would be even hotter because you would now look at that, the 2024 draft, and
completely useless.
You might as well just lit that thing on fire on stage right here in Detroit in front of that record 750,000 people. You would have got more entertainment out of watching all your draft picks.
It comes down to rake straw now. But I again, we can just transition right into this. That's fine. I didn't plan on talking Tarian Arnold unless this happened. I think it's the right move for the franchise. I think the Detroit Lions have come so far. They're not a punchline. They're not desperate. Have a standard. And this is the standard. We're not going to turn this into a circus, and we're not going to stand here blindly with a guy that is likely going to spend a good number of years in prison. They do not owe that to the player.
No.
The court of law owes the player a fair trial. The Detroit Lions do not owe the player their undying support.
And I think it's the severity of the penalty is why you got to separate. There are things that, our player screwed up. And you know what? It happens, and he's going to be suspended for a little bit. You stay at home. You stay away from the locker room. Handle this, figure this out, come up with some type of a deal with the attorney. This is one, when you start reading it, and you're saying to yourself, if this is even have 1 ounce of being true, dear God, who did we draft?
How is this their offseason? How is this their offseason when this could happen where you could just cut him on a whim because things go bad in the trial? And you have no corners. Keith Abney, the 5th-round pick's your guy you're going to turn to. Rakestraw, guy who hasn't played in 2 years.
Paul, do you actually, you first, me second.
Paul, they had to. You can't bring him into camp.
No. He's asking, then what were you doing all offseason?
Yeah, why? If you could just cut him on a whim because this thing could go south on you, why weren't you prepared for this in any way?
No, because
I'm assuming that Brad was in the bathroom at the Coney Island and he didn't see what was happening this year.
Well, then honestly, that's why if this year goes poorly, we should be talking about job security for both the coach and the GM. Look, you replaced Amik Robertson with Roger McCreary. Fine.
Push.
You had no backup plan. This is where they either were being willfully ignorant or they got completely snookered by the player. Dan Campbell's audio, and Paul, you're doing us a solid because with everything going on and David not being here after the 2 p.m., there's a piece of Dan Campbell audio from March 30th that to me, it just ages worse and worse and worse. Essentially, I think we're good. There's nothing to this. He wasn't involved. I believe the kid. Right. And I'm going, the day these things got reported in February, if two doorknobs like me and Rico could tell you, guys, and by the way, couple of phone calls, anyone I talk to in law enforcement, anyone I talk to who covers the league, not a single person shared Dan Campbell's opinion that he would be okay. The answers I was given from the beginning, he's in serious trouble. He's going away for a long time. So how could the Lions not have that? That is where Paul has a point. And we had Rico, they didn't address it.
They didn't.
You know what else they didn't
do?
They didn't address the safety position, considering Kirby Joseph may never play again, and Brian Branch blew his Achilles.
But they did have enough to joke and let you know, hey, we got to rush in. We got an edge rusher, so
I'm not going to conflate the two. I'm happy they drafted an edge.
Okay, so you did that, but you couldn't see what we all saw. And they'll be okay. They'll be fine. And now I can harken back. Yeah, last summer. Hey, guys, this offensive line ain't good. They'll be fine. It'll work out. They're NFL players. Trust the system until it didn't. And now I look at this secondary and I look at everybody in the North. Good luck with that. I'm not even going to go with Justin Jefferson. Good luck with covering the Bears receivers. Good luck with the Packers.
Here's let me just do this quickly. I want to back you away from the ledge.
Okay.
Maybe there's a corresponding move, as there are a couple interesting veteran free agent corners that they could bring in that I'm not a fan of Terrion Arnold. I just don't think he's any good. They wouldn't be worse than Arnold. If they go out and they add a depth piece, whether it's a Rasul Douglas or otherwise, I can get by. But the problem is teams like the Rams go, look, we have a problem in the secondary. Cutscene. They traded for an All-Pro and a Pro Bowl.
Let's go raid the Chiefs. Let's just take care
and in the same offseason got Myles Garrett.
Right. Whereas you are relying on Rakestraw to stay healthy.
I'm terrified of that.
You're going to go out and just pick up a corner and spin the wheel as safety?
They are one injury at corner from being DEFCON 1.
And I liked the Abney pick. He fell to them in the 5th round. I thought he'd be drafted higher, but it's not fair to ask a 5th round pick to save your franchise in the secondary.
No, decidedly not. That's like them asking Mahogany, a 6th round pick, to be a Pro Bowl guard. He was not. 248-539-9797. Rico, take him to church.
All right, guys. It was funny because on Saturday, or actually yesterday, I had somebody ask me about my basement and if I really like it. And I'm like, I do. And Matrix Basements did a fantastic job for me. They could do the exact same thing for you. I had started off with a totally unfinished basement. It was nothing but boxes and clothing and just old equipment down there. They came through, cleaned it out, and built it from scratch. They came up with the design from their award-winning design staff, and I love it. And they can do the same thing for you. If you start now, it may even be ready in time for the college and pro football season that you could have the man cave of your dreams. But here's what you got to do. You got to end the paralysis. You've been telling yourself, I'm going to fix this. You bought that house and said that you would fix the basement, and you haven't done it. End it right now. MatrixBasements.com. Matrix Basements, design that pays off.
Yikes. Wow, that was Paul with a hard out. All right, that was Dan Campbell. That was the audio I was referencing. The Lions have released Terrion Arnold. I mean, it's just, look, this is, I think it's the right move. I don't know how people feel. I didn't understand people's lack of understanding of the law and the legal system and the process, and also just the severity of what he's being charged with. Yeah, I think, Rico, you said it. Like, this isn't like, if I say this, people are going to think somehow I'm like,
It's not a power ranking.
yeah, I'm not power. Well, there are levels of severity. What I'm saying is I'm not saying any of these are a good idea.
Correct.
But like, okay, a guy goes too fast in his car. That's different than 8 felonies and facing life in prison.
Kidnapping. Yeah, it's like
There's a severity to this. So that's like, even this morning, and I was here a little bit early, and Evan was like, "You're not going to believe people." And I go, "What?" So he's at his bond hearing, and it's like people acting like he was going to roll into training camp with an ankle monitor.
Bruh, people were live tweeting, "Oh, look, his lawyer, and oh, his lawyer's on fire. His lawyer's earning every bit of money. He's going to be back with the Lions." It's like, that's not how this works. Okay, sure, if you want to believe that. And when all of a sudden they said, well, there, it was $1 million bond, and no ankle monitor, and you could go to practice, you can go meet with your lawyer, and you go home. That's it. And then because the media will keep track of you. And
it was strange.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, but it was strange. I wonder if the judge would have ruled this way if he knew the team was releasing him. You wonder about the ankle monitor. I know this has nothing to do with the Detroit Lions. It was just interesting because he used the phrase, ESPN will let us know if he's late to practice.
yeah, I don't think the judge knew that he was going to get released. I think the judge is saying, hey, because, Mike, the judge is probably basing it off of what we heard Dan Campbell saying, how they believe in their guy. And he's thinking, well, you'll show up to Lions practice next week and you'll be there. And if you do something stupid, then you'll be back here in front of me.
Paulie, couple of texts if you don't mind.
Yeah, this is from an unnamed texter, kind of agreeing with you, Mike. If the Lions go below 500 or less, the regime needs to be changed.
I think Holmes, yes. Not to cut you off. Holmes, Campbell, I think, would get another year.
No,
Because
I think they both would, because no one gets fired in this town. I'm making a point.
Yeah.
This is a pivotal year. You couldn't have a circus at training camp. Can't. And by the way, I think they're going to be good this year. I'm just saying, like, you have to zoom out and understand they've got to be completely locked in this year. Last year was embarrassing.
I know, I know you've said that often. I don't see that same optimism because I look at the secondary and I look at your defense. And I'm like,
Can I say 10-7 or am I disco?
You may be disco.
Wow, at 10-7? Damn.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
look, this is all based on Kirby comes back, that Brian Branch comes back, and then I could say that, but as of now, okay, you got Campbell, you got Hutch on your defense. Like, you're not bringing pressure as is. Your secondary's trash.
All right, Rico thinks you're going to stink. 2-4-8.
No, you're going to have to outscore everybody. You're going to have to go back to the days of Eric Coryell and Dan Fouts.
Oh, that's the way the team's built, though.
Right,
I mean, I'm
but
comfortable with it.
You're going to have to score 40 a game.
To be honest, though, I think they could roll out Glover Quinn and Darius Slay and beat the Dolphins this year. So,
Well, that's not saying much. That's kind of a low bar.
You know what, Paul? But see, in the NFL, you always got to worry about the teams you're supposed to roll over, because that's when you're like, wow, didn't see that coming.
Paulie, go ahead. Bud.
this is from Brady. Brad Holmes, a so-called talent draft expert, takes Terrion Arnold over Cooper DeJean. Brutal.
Look, we talked about this. I'm not going to harangue him over a bad pick. It is all I said is I cautioned you getting comfortable after the first year or two that no GM has ever outrun the number. It's like in baseball. No one outruns the averages over the long haul. The numbers are the numbers. NFL GMs, even the great ones, barely hit 50% of their first-round picks. You will have hot streaks. You will have cold streaks. I mean, you've seen it where Seattle, their successes, They go as their drafting has gone. When John Schneider's run hot, they've won Super Bowls. When he's gone cold, they haven't. This is regression was always going to happen. Now it has to stop, or you draft your way out of the league. 24 is looking like an empty class. That's a major problem. Now the 25 class with a Ratledge and with the big kid from Ohio State, the D tackle,
Tyreek Williams.
Thank you. Forgive me, Paul. Like that class has to step up this year, because then if Ratledge is just meh, and if Williams is meh, like then you're talking about the stuff that gets you on the hot seat. Multiple seasons of meh. Can't do it.
Well, yeah, like Howie Roseman took Jalen Reagor ahead of Justin Jefferson.
Oh, boy.
Blowing a first-round pick's going to happen. The fact that you basically have to flush his whole 24 draft down the toilet is kind of a disaster. That's where you get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and you know how Roseman has offset things like that? Finding a Jordan Mailata in the 7th round. You know what I mean? Being able to piece it together.
Yeah, if this 25 draft doesn't live up to the hype, then that's now 2 drafts in a row.
Yes.
After 3 really great drafts, including probably the best draft anyone's had in the last decade, where they had the Branch, Laporta, Campbell, Gibbs draft, which is just like ridiculous.
It'll be the best draft in the history of the organization. And it has helped build a foundation for the franchise to be competitive. But to become a Super Bowl team, and I know, 2-6 always harps on that. It's just the foundation's been laid, man. You've got to now build the rest of the house. It's hard to get to a Super Bowl, and I just don't feel like they do the things they need to do. That's separate from releasing Terry Arnold today. That's a decision I don't think they had a choice in.
No, it isn't, Mike. And look, I'm not trying to be negative, but when I look at what the other teams in your division did, and they've gotten better. Even, bringing in a quarterback in Minnesota, but it may work. And look, I look at this team, and you seem to be subtracting pieces rather than adding key pieces.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So that's why
I'm hoping
I
there's
can't
a corresponding move. 248-539-9797. We'll get with the people. And, Paulie, maybe we can get to your game here at 4:45 if you like. No, I like it. It's legitimately something that's been fun when you've done it on Saturdays. When it comes to an IRS collection or audit, Abraham and Rose has successfully specialized in resolving all types of tax problems for over 30 years. Extensive experience means you're going to get results. IRS collection or audit, that's nothing to play with. You get with Maurice and Jerry, you get 30 years of experience, and they're going to battle plan for you. Visit abrahamandrose.com, or you can call 248-539-5040, and you'll never have to deal with the IRS again. All right, let's get to the people. Rapping about Terry and Arnold getting released. And we still have Red Wing stuff to get to as well. If you're Hockey Elite, you're driving home on this Monday afternoon, I'd love to get your perspective. I admit it, I got snookered. I really thought Larkin would get dealt this weekend. I really did. And Yzerman's comments, I just feel like your GM is out of touch. This is not how it is in today. I feel like he's a GM from 2010. So I don't know what to say. And with free agency starting, not that Yzerman's ever shown any ability to bring in a legitimate free agent. This is a bad free agent class. Teams are going to begin filling their rosters. This Larkin thing is, without the draft being a part of the compensation, I just am struggling to figure out what type of deal you think you're getting. What contender is going to trade multiple dirt cheap, young, talented, high upside top six forwards for Dylan Larkin?
Or give you a 1-for-1 type of trade. Where
the old challenge trade that we talk about. Right. I struggle. So would love to get your thoughts on that too. But let's get to the people, okay?
Yeah.
Go to Chuck, 97.1. Chuck, how you doing?
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Hey, I love your show and love everything you say. Us fans, we listen to you. We go through the whole thing. I live in Muskegon now, but I'm born in Detroit. But the thing is, I care about the Tigers. I care about the Red Wings, and that's why we go through this stuff. But all that to say, I don't know why I added that caveat, but, I lived through all the Stanley Cups, and I go back to the Dale McCourts and all that stuff. But where is the owner during all this? And one might say, well, he doesn't micromanage. He doesn't do anything. Mike Ilitch would step in and say, hey, we're going to go out and get Miguel Cabrera. Make a call to Miami and see what's going on over there.
Do you want me to simplify this, Chuck? Do you want me to just give you the answer to keep your blood pressure from rising? Okay.
Yeah,
I want to help you. I want Chuck. I want you to stay calm.
Sweet.
So, Mike Ilitch was a fan. Chris Ilitch is a businessman.
Good way of putting it.
That's
exactly.
That's all it is.
No, in a nutshell, for sure. I mean, it's just frustrating because from a fan's perspective, a passionate fan like you and I and the callers, I understand it's a business. My buddy's always trying to explain to me, well, this is a business. Well, why do we need Jemiah Jones? It's bad for business. But I mean, I look at one thing. If I was king for a day, and I happen to be a general manager of a hockey team, the number one thing I look for when I pick up a hockey player or a baseball player, can this guy help my team win games? And if the answer is yes, I want him. And if it's no, I don't. But I'm just so frustrated. And you know what? In my opinion, Chris Ilitch is the head of the snake, and he's eating his own tail.
And look, this is the problem, is you also, I'll add a second thing to it, because Chuck, again, you're not wrong feeling the way you feel. The other problem is when you hire a legend and the family idolizes the man, I highly doubt you're going to roll in like Ari Gold with a paintball gun. I shouldn't do this. I should just go back to the phones. Have you seen the lineup for the game tonight?
Yep. I don't think you heard me when I said it.
Well,
I was like, you know what? It's been a long day, and I just let it go. But I had mentioned the lineup when Otto was in the room.
Does AJ want to be here? That's what this lineup reflects to me. Do you want to be here? I could save it till 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we can, but I think he's throwing stuff against the wall.
No, this.
We'll do it at 5.
Okay. We'll just go to Jimmy in Farmington, 97.1. Jimmy, what's good?
Hey, how are you guys? Thinking about you. First of all, rest in peace, Kenny. I just wanted to say the moments where you guys were all teasing were probably some of my favorite moments and the real stuff. So I know how hard it is.
Those are our favorite moments.
Appreciate it.
Jimmy, for all the times you get heated and you're, like you try to, you do a passionate show, the fun is the ball breaking. And it's Kenny had gotten really comfortable finally. And it was really good, man. And it's if people are just joining, Jimmy's referencing it is after a month-long health struggle, Kenny passed away Saturday, and we just we wanted to be the ones to deliver the news, and out of respect to the family, waited until we got the green light, and that's what Jimmy's referring to. So, Jimmy, go ahead.
Yeah. But with that being said, the Tyrion Arnold thing, I heard that clip a couple minutes ago, and I don't know, maybe Dan didn't know or Brad didn't know, but just the line of, like, based on the information, like, I think we're going to be okay. It just seems a little tone deaf, and it just kind of scares me. Like, do they have a good sense of what's going on in the locker room? Is that fair to be, like, a little, like, cautious? When I hear that, I was like, oh, my jaw dropped.
Yeah, Jimmy, that's why I played it, is that was from March 30th. And it was funny, well, not funny. It was ironic that when Tyrion got charged, then the team said, we have no comment on an ongoing legal matter. It's like, wow, that's quite a seed change. And now, only days later, he's released. So, yeah, no, Jimmy, something, and today is certainly not a day for drops, not with what we discussed in the first 90 minutes of the show. But, yeah, Jimmy, something is wrong here. Like, that was bad. They stepped in it.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of thinking because I'm around Tyrion Arnold's age, and he's 24, 25. He works hard, but he's got everything. He's got money. He's got friends. He can get any girl in the world. And for him to just throw it all away, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes I'm just mind blown. I would kill to be in his position.
Jimmy, it's a difficult thing because on one end, I totally agree with you. And then on the other, you look at it and you go, does one bad mistake, define a person? It's this eternal argument because we do give second chances, but this kid did something, allegedly, so egregious, so obscene that he could face the rest of his life behind bars. Jimmy, it's this juxtaposition. I lean your way. It's just the money doesn't change your brain power.
It doesn't. And I would say a mistake is running a red light, blowing through a stop sign that you didn't. That's a mistake.
Trying to be Scarface is not a mistake.
This was allegedly choreographed. So that's the bigger thing where Mike, you make a turn and you're like, oh my God, I know I was supposed to make that turn, officer. I'm sorry.
I was just allowing for the other side where I'm with you. Like, this is way more than just a mistake. It's just, we always put these guys on pedestals because what? Because they run fast or they have a cool bank account?
Because they play for your team.
But they're not different than anyone else.
No.
Meaning this, they're not different in that to err is to be human. The human condition is highly imperfect. And we always act as if the money or the athletic ability somehow enhances your decision-making. It does not. This is a tale as old as time. Think about it. I mean, I used to do this thing 15, 16 years ago with Terry where I had the athlete's guide to success. I mean, like rule number 1, hire a driver. Rule number 2, don't own a gun. Rule 3, wear a rubber. Like, it was just this whole athlete's guide to success. Don't want to have 9 kids by 8 women. We can fix that. Don't want to have a Supermax DUI where you killed someone. We can fix that.
And if you follow Chris Carter, get yourself a fall guy.
Paul, you get my point. Like, it's as old as time. Well, you're laughing.
I'm laughing, Paul, because I could just see Mike coming down from a mountain holding 2 tablets.
That's it.
The 10 commandments of being an athlete.
Yeah. But I guarantee
thou shalt not own a gun.
But I guarantee you wouldn't end up broke and you wouldn't end up in jail. Only 2 things I can promise you.
All right. Get yourself a real person to manage your money.
Get a driver, hire security, get a quality financial advisor, and keep the snake in the cage unless you got some form of protection going on because you don't want to pay alimony to 7 different women. It's not hard. Oh, and by the way, don't do a bunch of coke or stupid crap. Keep your nose clean. These are not hard rules. You beat the game, fellas. You won.
And if needed,
what are you doing?
And if needed, you may need to separate yourself from your family. Just say.
Okay, noted. Signed Aaron at the top of a mountain. Okay.
It's got to be a little concerning. This keeps happening to the Lions organization. Caught off guard by the Patricia stuff.
I'm going to give you partial credit for the Aaron thing. That was Moses' brother. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't. I was talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, okay.
No, but it's like they caught off guard with the Patricia thing. They're caught off guard with J-Mo's gambling in the locker room or the hotel. It's like how they keep getting caught off guard by these things.
Well, the J-Mo thing was that one I think you ought to back off of. Now, the Patricia thing, when basically it was an easy Google, okay. This, you know my feeling. The J-Mo thing, I think J-Mo got a little bit of a raw deal as far as he didn't quite know the rules. Okay, he did something stupid. But it's not like he was Brendan Sorsby. There's a separation. Right. I that's the one I would push back on. All right, if you're thinking about upgrading your ride for summer, check out Moran Buick GMC of Sterling Heights, one of the biggest selections of vehicles in the state. Denali's are in stock as well. So whether you need the capability of a Sierra, the luxury of a Denali, they have everything you need. And when it comes to certified service, unlike most dealers, you get the certified service, you're also getting a loaner. You can go about your day. It's Moran Buick GMC of Sterling Heights, where you always get the best price, period. You can visit them, Van Dyke, just south of 18 Mile, or shop anytime at MoranExpress.com. It's Moran Buick GMC. We are professional grade. It's not the news it would have been a few years ago, but it's still a name brand. It's Blue Magic. John Morant has been traded. And much like we said, he's a negative asset. What did you get back, Memphis? The dead body of Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. That's it. That's all. For Ja, goes to another forgotten market, less media scrutiny, a new start, and maybe he can get it together.
I thought maybe he was going to Miami.
You couldn't put him there. You couldn't put him there. It's one of the epicenters of the league. This guy's radioactive. And truthfully, his peripherals, the raw data, he's been getting worse each year on the court. He's a negative asset. I'm surprised Memphis didn't attach a pick. Truly. Paul, go ahead with a couple of texts and I'll get to the people.
Yes, this is from an unnamed texter. Ever since the Lions made it to the NFC Championship game, I think Dan Campbell's words have been ring true and how hard it would be for them to get back there because it seems like every year since then they've gotten a little bit worse.
They have. 23 was their best shot. Not just because they were up 17 in the game. It was the best offensive line in the history of the franchise. They had everything they needed. That was their best chance.
And they had the big lead at halftime, too. This is from John in Oakland. Stop with the coach and GM will be fired next year stuff. We are talking about the Lions here. Even last year's 9-8 record would have been hailed as fantastic if this were 2019. That said, they fixed the O-line, doubled the size of the defensive back group, and strengthened the D-line. They will go 12-5 and win the division.
Well, let's unwind that yarn ball because you're kind of making things up. I didn't say they'd be fired. I said you would have a conversation if they missed the playoffs. I then followed that up by saying, I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they'll be good. You sound a little sensitive. Well, as the kids would say, touch grass. Like it's a football team, okay? It ain't that real, Spank.
Yeah, I think they'll be modeled in mediocrity. That's me, not him. He believes in them.
Also, it's not 2019. So that's kind of a silly thing to say.
Yes, they've won multiple divisions. They got to the NFC title game. They went 15-2 and got a 1 seed. You can't expect them to be the old Lions anymore. They should be past that.
No, they've way too much talent to be that. I'm saying that if you continue to miss the playoffs and you're talented, it will spark conversation. But that apparently got lost in the Rosetta Stone there. Go ahead.
Yeah, another one here basically saying that he doesn't understand why the 3 of the 4 GMs in town seem to be scared to really do anything to bolster their roster. Thankfully, at least Langdon seems to be on the right track.
Is he? Isaiah Joe? That's what we're going to give you credit for? A salary dump from OKC? Albeit a shooter, and I'm not knocking the player. I'm saying it's a salary dump. It's an easy deal to make. Here's a couple of picks.
Yeah, I think we're all looking at the Jalen Duren. That's going to
the Duren thing, and I'm looking for who the big acquisition is. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for what's next.
Unless both things are true, and the big acquisition is Jalen Duren.
Well, then
kick rocks.
You can go straight to hell. Don't
pass
go.
Do touch grass.
Whatever. Yeah, like that's it's ridiculous. Let's get to the people. Go to Tim. He's out in KZoo. 97.1. Hi, Tim.
Hey, guys. Thinking of you and everybody at the family there.
Appreciate it, Tim.
Just wanted to say, I've watched the Red Wings for a long time. In high school, I would just sit there in my computer ask class and just watch 90s Wings highlights. I didn't really care what was going on in the classroom. I've been watching this team for a long time, and I'm hoping that Larkin's trade request was kind of a slap in the face Yzerman needed to go, dude, this ain't working, bud. And, we'll see what Yzerman does post-Larkin trade or his trade request. But I really did like the draft pick. I liked flipping Kosa for, I forget the guy's name now. But he actually drafted somebody who's not just a 200-foot player. Actually somebody with a lot of
a skill,
offensive upside.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, a step in the right direction. Yzerman's the reason we're to this point, but maybe he's finally learned his lesson.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Tim. When he comes out after the draft and he basically does the tough guy thing, well, he's got a contract. I can't make any promises. Tim, There's no world that he can act in the best interest of this franchise, and yet Dylan Larkin doesn't get traded this summer. And you know this. You're a smart hockey fan. You know this.
Yes, but I think I agree with that to a degree, but I also think I don't like what Yzerman has done to a lot of free agents and some of our guys where he's just grinded them down. That's not the right move to your own guys. But I do think in this instance that is his only move, because you got to make the best of a bad situation. Next year's going to be a wash. They ain't making the playoffs next year. Everybody in the Atlantic has gotten better.
So then, can I ask a question, Tim? And I'm being sincere. It's not like flippant sports radio. Tim, then why is he here? You know, if you're looking at it and going, Mikey, next year's a wash no matter what he does, then why is he here?
I honestly don't know. I think the only reason he's here is because of his name. Again, I'm not going to defend his
No,
move
I know that. I know.
And then why we got here. But I'm just hoping he's learned his lesson.
Do you know why? Do you know what would allow me to keep him around longer? People are going to think I'm crazy. Tim, if he would just look in the mirror and admit it's been an Yzer sham, and he trades Larkin and he trades DeBrincat, and we do the rebuild of the rebuild, that would buy him time. I can't keep doing
totally
what
right.
he's doing. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, Tim, Tim, I know you realize this, is like you don't have a top 6. You have like a top 2. Then you got to factor in they probably should buy out Rasmussen and Comfer. Kane is probably leaving. And you're going to be forced into paying DeBrincat $12 a year plus to do what? Be bad? Like that's my problem in all of this. None of it equates to it's going in the right direction. If he tore it down, it would at least signal he understands the errors of his ways.
Right, but the thing is, Mike, if he tears it down, he shouldn't be given the right to rebuild it again.
I understand that.
But I know he won't get let go, but that's the frustrating part for me is where else do you get to tear a team down, tear it down again 7 years later, and tell people, well, just wait, give me a couple more years.
Nowhere. But that's also why I think it's equally laughable that he's going to wreck a summer because either he has an unreasonable demand for Larkin or worse is your point. If he's trying to prove a point, that's not how the league works anymore. There was a time where Gordie Howe asked for a new winter coat for a raise. That's not where the league is, man. You know what?
I got you.
That's not where the league is.
I got you.
Well, we're going to get more of the callers. And then I'm going to debut for you, and I'm probably helping Tiger fans with this. This lineup will probably produce 8 runs tonight. This is the single worst lineup I've seen all year. This is a lineup that is suggestive of what does a guy have to do to get fired around here. This is wild to me. I'll do it in the 5 o'clock. Paul, a text or two?
Yeah, some text on Kenny. Rest in peace, Kenny. We love you, man. Prayers for his family and friends. Hopefully you guys can get through the next few days okay.
Yeah, and if you want to hear, we did about an hour and a half, and then I know it's impossible. I know that it's we can't make everybody happy, but we tried to bring some normal to the day. But if you want to hear the first 90 minutes and us discussing Kenny, and you can use Odyssey.com rewind. And I know we were able to bring some needed laughter when you brought up the salsa draw.
Yeah, I put it out on social.
Okay. Yeah. That's one of the funniest damn things ever with Kenny here. The look on TJ's face when Kenny said he was putting salsa in a warming drawer of his hot dog roller. Oh, Kenny. Damn it. But yeah, you can go listen to it. It's not easy listening, I can tell you that. So, all right, we'll get some of the calls, and then I'll read you this lineup, and maybe Rico can tell me I'm overreacting. 97.1.
Brought to you by Northville Lumber. The Lions have officially released corner Terrion Arnold. This comes after his pretrial hearing today, which allowed him to work. No future court dates were set. Arnold is a former first-round pick with Detroit in 2024, and his tenure ends after 2 seasons. Ex-Pistons guard Malik Beasley has been indicted for a sports betting scheme where he was allegedly bribed to fix his performance. According to Cody Davis of the Detroit News, he's set to surrender voluntarily by Wednesday. The Tigers start a series against the Yankees in New York. Casey Mize, Ryan Weathers will battle on the mound in his last start against New York. Mize surrendered 4 earned runs and 8 hits in 5 2/3 innings. New York will also be without reliever David Bednar as he was placed on the paternity list today. 7:05 the first pitch right here on 97.1. The round of 32 continues in the World Cup. Brazil took down Japan narrowly in the 95th minute 2-1 earlier. The Grizzlies have also traded Ja Morant to the Blazers for former Piston Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. The Pistons picked up their team options on Danis Jenkins and Tolu Smith. At the Corwell Health Sports Desk, I'm Jeremy Otto. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
All right, 5 o'clock. Again, I encourage you, obviously, we have heavy hearts. We started the show. If you want to hear all of our words about the passing of Kenny, Odyssey.com rewind. We're trying to kind of bring some normal because it's something that we've carried for a few weeks and then the shock of this weekend and just, we know some of you are turning in to escape your own stuff. So we want to try to do both. But if you want to hear our full words and remembering Kenny, use the rewind. And yes, the sports talk feels rather hollow today. But I said this to you before commercial. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say this to you. I know I'm probably guaranteeing this lineup scores 8 runs tonight by doing this, but this is the single worst lineup that A.J. Hinch has put out this season. This lineup is unbelievable to me. You ready for this? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So we start out with Matt Vierling leading off. Dingler 2, McGonigal 3. No issues there. None. I totally get it. I'd prefer McGonigal leading off, to be quite honest, but fine. In batting cleanup, Torque, followed by Ha-Yu Lee, Jahmai Jones, Zach McKinstry, Ben Malgeri, and James Outman. Riley Green has the day off. How do you put a lineup featuring Jahmai Jones, Ben Malgeri, James Outman? How?
Against the Yankees.
Now, remember when I said the Yankees are terrible right now? Their only wins in their last 10 games are against you. The Yankees are not good right now. But that lineup, you're 14 under. You know you're going to be a seller. Why not bring somebody up? Little energy, little juice. Bring a kid up. Try it. I can't believe. First of all, I have an issue with Vierling leading off. Second of all, Jahmai Jones even existing is one thing. Hitting 6th is crazy. Oh, but he's going to set it up so Carey can pinch hit later. Guys, how's that worked out for you? Nobody's pinch hit more and had less success than the Tigers.
Yeah.
Jahmai Jones can't be hitting 6th because, so the Yankees are going to go out there tonight, okay? And they're going to throw a lefty in Weathers. Fine. The point I'm making is, Rico, the Yankees can stay with left-handed pitching from Weathers straight into their pen where they have some deadly lefties. So you're planning for a day that may never come. The idea is, as long as there's a lefty in, Jones is hitting 6th. It can't. Malgeri. I where did they even find Ben Malgeri?
It was just funny because, as I stated, it's been a busy day, a lot going on. But when I was like, Mike, did you see this lineup? And I'm like, okay, he hasn't seen this. He did not.
I didn't. No, and it goes well beyond it goes well beyond the real things going on in our life and with Kenny, and it was, we had the Yzerman stuff and the Terry and Arnold getting released, and I admit it. Normally I'm kind of a stickler for the lineup, but man, I saw this and I just was like,
wait, do you have a change of heart on Jahmai? No,
he
just didn't hear me. He did not.
He did not. I mean, I don't even get angry about it anymore. I almost feel like, is AJ sending a message? Is I know AJ doesn't want to get fired. Like, what? How is it happening?
AJ's trying to figure out, what can I do in the 8th and 9th innings to win games? If we only played 7, we played softball, we'd be in first place. But
no, and again, your starting pitching against Houston was excellent. I mean, you had 4 starting pitchers give up a grand total of 5 earned runs, yet you lost 3 out of 4. Your bullpen stinks. Mm-hmm. We know this. Finnegan stinks. Vest stinks. Jansen stinks. They all stink. I mean, Wazenbacker, or whatever the hell his name is, has been okay, but like, he's a nothing burger. Once the video gets out on him, they'll start knocking him around the yard.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. But and again, I'm not trying to do a Scooble show, but we talked about this. I mean, your homestand 5-5, not good enough. You're 9 games out of the division, not good enough. You're 7 games out of the wild card, not good enough. Like, Scooble should be on sale today. That doesn't mean you trade him today. It means you start this process so you can maximize the value. I don't want to hear anymore. I mean, it's bad enough when you watch the broadcast that these guys are even allowed to say the words wild and card in the same half inning. Just stop. This is a bad baseball team. I heard it yesterday. Well, there's some randomness to losing this many 1- and 2-run games. Not when you're 11-30. It's kind of institutional at that point. They're 11-30 in games decided by 2 runs or less. No, it means you're a bad baseball team who doesn't execute pitches, who doesn't play great defense, and who doesn't have clutch hitting. Period. Mm-hmm. It's okay to just say that.
Right. Amen to all of that. I mean, I was joking when they were up yesterday, like 3-0. Like, how are they going to find a way to? Wow, they just found a way to lose. I thought that was safe. You looked like you were going to cruise to a victory.
Listen, unfortunately, I mean, the word's out on Kenley Jansen. He can't locate pitches. And when you say that, normally people are like, well, what do you mean? He's walking every? No. 0-2, and you're throwing middle. You're not locating. I mean, he did the same thing in Baltimore. It's been the same thing all year. He can't locate. It's over. That's why you don't sign a geriatric closer off a one-off season.
What about a geriatric starter at the trade deadline?
What, like?
Last
year's deadline with Morton and stuff?
Yeah.
No, buddy, I really mean it. They can make a decision on Mize. I wouldn't mind, but again, they're the same team that like screwed Mize out of $10,000 in the arbitration. So like, I don't know what the vibes are there, and you haven't heard a peep about extending him. But right now, I'd be taking Mize and Scooble, and I'd start the process. I don't know what else there is.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, the Yankees are terrible right now, but do I have any confidence they're going to go in there and win 2 of 3? Not really. I mean, you should win tonight. Why? The Yankees are pitching a guy who's going to be working at Arby's in 6 months. Weathers is not a guy in our rotation. He's there to fill until we get our pieces back. He's a nothing burger. He's a shrewd acquisition by the team to eat some innings because they knew they'd have guys coming back later, like Fried is coming back. Luis Gil will come back. Weathers will go to the pen. You should win tonight. But will you? I don't have any confidence. Look at this lineup. I can't believe this.
Unfortunately, the fact that they play in a terrible conference is allowing their front office to drag their feet on what they're going to do.
All right. Paul, at a certain point, here, let me, if I may. You're right, but you're wrong. Here's why. You're right on principle. The AL is bad. It's factually true. But the problem you have is you no longer get to talk about the AL being bad when you are at the bottom of it. There's one team that has a worse record than you, and that's on percentages only. There is no one in Boston talking playoffs. There's no one in Kansas City talking playoffs. There's no one in Anaheim talking playoffs. It is a delusion in this town that this organization, no one gets their ass kissed more in this town than the Tigers. And I don't know why. They are approaching 50 years without a championship. 50, 5-0. But there's a line of excuse makers for this franchise. I don't get it. Paul, so you're right, but you do understand. Look at the standings. They're at the very bottom of it. And by the way, you're not only chasing one team to win your division, it's two, because Cleveland and Chicago are right there next to each other. Then you go to the wild card. Paul, you could have the Octo Box. You wouldn't effectively scoreboard watch for the Tigers in the wild card. If you want to get the wild card, fine. Say 83 wins. You want to go 83 and 79? Okay. What's your record got to be the rest of the way? What are they right now? 35 and 49? They're 35 and 49. You need to win 83 games, right? So you got to go 48 and 35 losses, 79. It would be, what is it? No, that math ain't mathing for me.
Hold on.
My brain is mush.
Oh, please. Let me pull this up.
Because you know what we were saying for a while.
Right. You got to win 48 games, and you could only lose, I think,
33.
Mike, I don't think, I want to say like 28.
Yeah. So you get my point. I'm exhausted by it. So lose again.
You're saying 30.
Let's say you had needed 83 to make the wild card. Okay. What's that record over the last, 79 games or whatever the hell it is?
So, yeah, that's, okay. So, yeah, that would be 35.
How many college degrees?
43. No, that's it. 43 and 30.
13 over. That wouldn't even bring them to 500. They're 14 under.
No, it would be 48 and 30.
48 and 30, yeah.
18 games over 500, huh? In what world? This is the lineup you're throwing out. The Ben Malgiri backing band. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
That's the witness protection lineup.
It's crazy. I mean, Paul, I'm not trying to overdo it. You don't hear me yelling about Jemai anymore. That was a month ago. But, Jemai hitting sixth is crazy. It's crazy. And it's all because he thinks he's going to outfox Aaron Boone and pinch hit Carp. And it's like, well, what if the Yankees just keep a lefty in?
I'm not a baseball savant, but I just don't understand why it can't always just be McGonigal, Dingler, and Green in some fashion in your top three every time you take the
game. Simple.
Buddy, I don't think any of us have to be Bill James. How is it you can't go and give Max Anderson a shot? How is it you can't go and try to find somebody? You know the other problem in all of this? The Yankees didn't spend big money on Paul Goldschmidt. They paid him $4 million. Right-handed stick who kills lefty pitching. Goldschmidt's going to be an all-star, and he's carrying an OPS north of 830. I think it's 900. You know what an inconvenient problem is for you? Your GM stinks at pro personnel. He stinks. You couldn't go get Randall Grichuk, who's really helped the White Sox. Another guy. It's not all $100 million players.
No, I thought it was a surprise when Goldschmidt hits home run.
It's been a very emotional few days.
I know.
Don't warm me up.
Just try to get you back.
Unbelievable. 248-539-9797. Your phone calls are coming up next. All right. Heat wave is here. Everybody's on the road, including distracted drivers. People flying up north like there's no speed limit. Crash happens. Multitude of problems. One of which, the insurance company's already ahead of you. Call David Femininio, the accident response team. They're going to help get your life back. And David's going to fight to get you what you deserve. Don't let the insurance company run the show. Call 855-65-CRASH or go to getdavidgetpaid.com. That's getdavidgetpaid.com. All right, let's go to the phones. We go to Matt, who's out in Oxford, 97.1. Matt, how you doing?
Good, Mikey. You know, I had the same visceral reaction that you did to this lineup, and I actually started to wonder if it isn't the opposite of AJ trying to get fired and maybe sending a message to Scott Harris. Yeah. I hate to say trying to get him fired. I'm not going that far, but, like, look, this is the stuff you gave me, so believe you. You get to watch this lineup tonight against the Yankees. Yeah, Weathers is nothing special, but still, like, you get to see what happens when I use the pieces that you gave me.
It's just remarkable. Like, the Jahmai Jones thing is insane to me, but then hitting him sixth on this hope and a dream that eventually you'll get carry in the game. I mean, Matt, at a certain point, you don't have the tools to play 4D chess.
Plus, it's also, I don't mind the idea of his pockets. Like, I get the idea there, but you also have to be within shooting distance when that happens. Yes. So, like, you're going to, like, not only that, let's say you're Casey Mize. How do you feel today? Like, oh, thanks, Skip. Like, you're going to give me that. I mean, like, why do you hate me? What did I do to you? Like, I mean, you got to watch this lineup go against the Yankees and hope that by the time he gets his little chance to switch Carp in, that they're still there, that it's still close enough for that to matter.
No, and that's okay. So let me ask you the second part. Do you agree with me? Like, there should be some reports this week the Tigers have started the Skubal bidding, right? Or am I just being mean?
No, listen, I hung on as long as I could. I love baseball. I like watching good baseball. I like watching meaningful baseball even when baseball's not great. And this weekend was tough because they played okay baseball, not good baseball, and then still lost. They scored runs and still lost. Yeah. They don't, like you said, you said this earlier, and it's completely true. They don't do all the little things they used to do on the margins to help them win. Go first to third, play better defense. Make outs from the outfield, from in the bullpen. They don't do all those little things anymore. So instead, they lose those games. Well, you lose those games down by 2 runs because your lineup's not good enough and your bullpen stinks. So you either have to outscore somebody, your bullpen doesn't matter, or you got to keep it tight and your bullpen carries you through. Right. When you do neither of those things, then you're done. So I think you're going to see Mize on the block, Skubal on the block, Gleyber if he's healthy. Like, I think you're going to see this most significant sell-off of Scott Harris's regime.
Well, Matt, I hope you're right, but Matt, I want you to be right desperately. But I've also said the whole time, I'll believe it when I see it. I just imagine this front office like in the fetal position underneath their bed, like praying they don't have to do their job. Because it's not, this is a career-defining trade if you trade Tarik Skubal.
If Scott Harris doesn't do those things, Mike, and they miss the playoffs, like they're going to, because the math is terrible. Like I want them to make it, but the math is bad. Yeah. So if he doesn't move those parts, then it's a derelict to duty.
I agree totally. Gone. And Matt, I'm glad you said it the way you did. Is that's the same way I feel with Yzerman. Is your job is to be a steward of the organization, and sometimes that means you don't get to do what you want. You do what you need. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Yzerman has got to get Larkin moved, or you're not going to have a summer, and therefore you're not going to have a season. Both these guys are in a very interesting spot, and I don't know whose job is tougher. And maybe it's a conversation for tomorrow. Who's got the tougher assignment here, Yzerman or Harris? No, you know what I mean?
No, Mike, because each day that job gets tougher for both because we're waiting and waiting and waiting. So, no, I'd love to discuss that because honestly, I don't know because
they're both really difficult. Let's go to is it Corinne? Corin. I'm sorry. I apologize about the pronunciation. Go ahead.
Well, I don't understand what you guys are talking about because this is the Lions thing.
Okay.
Like, we were never a cornerback away in our off season. Like, okay, Terrion Arnold's a C cornerback. Well, there's still C cornerback free agents that we can sign. All that matters is, one, we got a center, Cade Mays. $25 million for 3 years when these other fools are getting $88-something million. Like, that's insane. So we got a really good up-and-coming player on a great deal. We solidified our offensive line, and we got we'll see about the edge with DJ and was it Wonham and Moore, right? Well, we put some draft capital in there, and if we were to say to ourselves, let's say Terrion tore his ACL in February and he wasn't going to be here for the season, we would say, okay, well, we need to use some late round draft picks and free agent pickups to cover the position. Well, we're still in position to do that. So I don't understand why all this hoopla about him being cut or released or it was a bad draft pick. I can understand that part just because you waste a first-round draft pick on him. But other than that, as far as this upcoming season, he was not a consequential part to that anyway. So why are we tripping that he's cut?
Because, Corin, he was the best player you had in your secondary going into the season. That's why.
But that's by a very minimal margin. It wasn't like he was an A and it was a C.
No. But Corin, here's the thing. When all of a sudden that secondary went bad and you lost all your safeties, that's when you lost 4 of your last 6 games at the end of the season. So that's just going to carry over into the beginning of this season.
But we didn't lose those games because of defense. We lost those games because of our offensive line was garbage and our play, and Dan was not doing it, couldn't do the job that he wanted to do while he was calling plays. That's why we lost those games. The defense was a part of that, but not the biggest part of that. We had a trash defense 2 years ago. We went 15-2. We lost the playoff game because we had 4 interceptions and Ben Johnson got too cute. It had nothing to do with a bad defense.
Actually, you gave up 31 points, 41 points, 29 points, and you gave up 23 points to the 4th-string quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings.
Which happens when you are also giving the ball up, throwing 3 and out, turnover.
All right. Corin, I'm not being disrespectful. I don't have it in me to do this today. Have a great day. I can't do it. All right. Like you're all pissed about I don't know what. The guy was a starter. He got released. Now, I agree with you. You could sign somebody else. But you're all over the place. You're making fun of somebody who paid Tyler Linderbaum, and you're going to enter Cade Mays into that discussion as if Cade Mays is any good. He's a horrendous run blocker. You failed to mention that. You know, you're barking at Rico when Rico makes the point, like, you don't have good depth in the secondary because, yes, you brought in Roger McCreary that replaces Amik. Rock Ya-Sin is a backup. Terrion Arnold was slated to be CB2 in a defining year of his career. You are risking that Kirby Joseph won't play all year. And then we got to see with Brian Branch. I don't think it's a fart in the wind to have a first-round pick from 2024 facing life in prison and be released. Corin, today's not the day, man. And like there's real things in life that are actually happening today. This is not one. And you can be as passionate as you want. I'm not being disrespectful. Not today.
Just a little delusional of the defense, like you gave up a ton of points. It wasn't your offense. It wasn't your offensive line.
Hear me when I say this. I'm not mad at Corin. I'm sure as hell not mad at you. I appreciate you doing that. I have it in me to get in some yelling match about nonsense. The point I'm making is he was going to have an answer for everything because he has his Honolulu blue cape on for the team. Fine. Once again, I'm going to flow chart it. Today's not the day. Not you, not him. I'm not doing it. All right? That's what you not with what's – no, I'm saying not with what we have going on today, and I'm being respectful of the listener. But I knew where that call was going early, and there was no middle ground. So I don't care to have any ground. You go your way, I'll go mine. I said the team's going to be good. I don't think there was hoopla. I don't think there was yelling or histrionics about any of it. I'd like to see them sign a corner. And no corner they sign had the upside of Terrion. Unfortunately, I viewed Terrion as not being here since February. The conversation, which again, Corin did not want to have, they didn't do anything in the offseason to beef up and prepare for what the obvious was. Right. If they tell you a tornado is going to rip through your town and you don't prepare for it, you did a bad job. That's it. You knew Terrion wasn't going to be here. So that's all. Again, not mad at anybody. I don't have it in me to do that today. 97. I got it's like even if I'm trying to be nice, I know I probably don't sound nice, so I quit.
Don't quit.
I didn't mean. Okay, just read.
Breaking news.
Please read.
Let's talk about the Chevy dealer in the area leading the way. Hamilton Chevrolet in Warren all June long. Hamilton is participating in pickups for Paul's campaign supporting Rebel Dogs Detroit. for every pet that is loved and cared for. There's so many that they're not that lucky. So stop into Hamilton Chevrolet and drop off pet-friendly supplies into the bed of that Silverado right in the middle of their showroom. You can find their wish list under the About Us tab at HamiltonChevy.com. Your donation will make a difference, folks. Then while you're there, you can even talk to Andrew and his sales staff about getting into a new Chevy, including the June Rico deal, a new 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for $269 a month for 36 months. It includes 10,000 miles a year. All you got to do is walk in with $995 down, and you'll drive off in the Rico deal. You know what I say? The best deals are found at 14 Mile and Mound. Stop in and see my guys at Hamilton Chevrolet for details. Make sure you drop off those pet-friendly supplies as well. Visit HamiltonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Paulie, what do you got? Talk to me. This is very exciting. This is something Paul does on the weekends. What is this? I don't want to butcher the name. The start, bench, replace thing?
Start, bench, cut.
Now explain this to Rico.
So you're going to give three choices. I'm going to list like a category. You're going to give three names, three choices, whatever. And you got to start, bench, cut.
Okay.
And it can be sports or non-sports. So
Yes.
he's going to trick you. He's good at this.
I've heard.
Take a listen.
All right, so we're going to start off with anything's possible scenario, so Kevin Garnett style. Ideal Pistons acquisition this offseason. Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Trey Murphy. They can get any of the three. Start, bench, cut.
Rico, you get first crack.
They can get any of the three. Oh, I'm going to go with you start LeBron, you bench Kawhi and you cut Murphy.
I tend to agree. Even though Murphy's the best player, the acquisition cost seems to be so punitive. It would be a cut. I know the best player, like the player that would create the nightmare scenario would be Kawhi, because your net defensive rating would be off the charts.
Right.
A soaring Kawhi coaches would have nervous breakdowns. But because he doesn't want to be here, I can't start him. So I'll bench him, start LeBron. Plus, LeBron is free. It's just money.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe cheaper.
I think I agree with your guys' assessment of things, but Kawhi on the Pistons would be he'd be the perfect player for this team.
And Paul, maybe I'm wrong for factoring in that he doesn't want to be here. But no, he's the best of the group, no question.
I wish he would put his hatred for Detroit or whatever aside and just look at the possibility of what he could be on this team.
They would make the finals if they got Kawhi.
Okay, so let's go over to the Wings for a second. Start, bench, cut.
All of them.
Larkin landing spots. Minnesota, Dallas, Vegas. So where he's going to end up, where he might end up, no chance he goes there.
Oh, God, we're going to... Okay.
Minnesota,
Vegas, Dallas. I still think he ends up with the Wild.
Yeah, I was going to say Minnesota start.
Bill Guerin is one step from showing up nude to Yzerman's house. So I'm going to say Minnesota's the star. I mean, Bill Guerin is like stalker calling him.
Vegas bench, cut Dallas.
See, I think Dallas trades Robertson somewhere else, and then they can go after
they
Larkin.
need him. Okay.
I think Vegas would be the least likely based on what do they have to offer you, the cap considerations. They don't have space, so then you got to take on expensive. I'd cut Vegas.
Okay.
Now watch, he goes to none of them.
Yeah, he goes to New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't have, I can't even say Traverse City anymore because they're not doing that. I was going to say that should have been a destination.
That would have been good.
Okay,
Wings
so
practice facility.
We hit the Pistons, we hit the Wings. Now let's hit the Tigers for a second. Tigers, you never want to see again.
Jahmai Jones,
Wenzel Perez, Jake Rogers.
Jahmai Jones. Jake Rogers I'll cut because Jake Rogers doesn't offend me. He's just a backup catcher. I rarely see him. Only once a month does AJ decide to pinch hit Jake Rogers, and only then does it upset me.
And then he hits a home run. So
he's just in the background. He's just a backup singer. Wenzel Perez would be the bench. The guy, by start, I mean launch to sun, Jahmai Jones. I can't take it.
He said it so eloquently.
But you know what I'm saying? When a guy is a backup and I never see him, I'm not mad at Jake Rogers because they're not running him out there every day. Right. Poor Wenzel hit himself in the head with a weight or whatever the hell happened to poor guy. I'll bench him.
You know, like Jones, Wenzel Perez, Malgeri, all the guys that are Outman, those just seem like AI-generated MLB The Show guys.
I know. But like, how can I be mad at Bob Malgeri? Like he's living his dream. I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at Scott Harris.
Well, no, you're annoyed that you're 3 years into this of making the playoffs and trying to make runs, and we're still relying on guys like that.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go to the Lions. Lions under the most pressure this season: Penei Sewell, DJ Reed, Aleem McNeil.
Rico.
So starting is the most pressure.
Yes.
I would probably say DJ Reed start. I would go McNeil bench and Sewell cut.
Sewell has no pressure. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he'll do really well at left tackle. I'm going to say Sewell, no pressure. I'm going to flip the answer from Rico. I think Reed is on the bench. I think the guy with the most pressure is Aleem McNeil. If he doesn't perform, he'll find himself cut.
Especially as bad as their run defense was last year.
He'll be released. I'll say the most pressure is on Aleem McNeil, especially after he was crying about nobody has to do the things I have to do.
Yeah.
So I get he's a Hall of Fame caliber player, but you don't think there's a little bit of pressure Sewell switching sides?
No, Paul. He'll get a couple of missed tackles, or he'll get his quarterback killed on a play or two because of muscle memory early in the season. But after that, he'll figure it out.
Okay. So we expand broader for a second. NFL head coaching hot seat: Todd Bowles, Zach Taylor, Aaron Glenn.
Whoa, boy. Okay.
It's a rough list.
Whoa, boy.
Aaron Taylor.
I'm going to say Aaron Glenn, number one. He's the start. He's in a blast furnace market in New York. They're not going to give him the patience he deserves like Dan Campbell got here. I'll say AG's the starter. The bench is Zach Taylor. Burrow's going to demand the trade, and at that point, they'll fire him. I think Todd Bowles is like a barnacle. You just can't scrape him off your boat. Todd Bowles just never gets clipped.
I'm going to flip. I'm going to leave Taylor at bench. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go Aaron Glenn, cut. Todd Bowles will be starting because I think, especially if they end up giving the quarterback and they're like, you know what, we're going to actually invest in this team and we're going to do what we can with Baker Mayfield, and you fail again, you're the common denominator. I think Aaron Glenn may get the benefit of the doubt because the Jets aren't really playing football until the season afterwards. They know this is going to be a bad year, and they're setting him up to fail.
Especially when they traded all his best players his first season he gets there. They
Yes.
sort of had to be some sort of an understanding, like, hey, we're going to pull the rug out from under you, Aaron. You're just going to have to deal with it for a couple seasons.
So that's why I got Aaron at cut, because
that's a nasty list.
Look, I know New York, it's a hard market, but
yeah,
he has to know, Aaron, you're safe. We're taking away all your toys. We want Dante Moore here.
Okay, now let's go to a little fun thing. 4th of July is coming up this weekend. Start, bench, cut, the best part of the 4th of July. The weather, the grilling, the fireworks.
Oh, it's easy for me, but I'll let Rico go first.
You know, I'm older now. When I was a kid, it was fireworks all day. That would have been the start. I'm going to say the grilling. I'm going to start that. I'm going to bench the weather, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut the fireworks. Because
he's right
now. Because here's the thing. Fireworks are no longer special. It used to be you shot them off on the 4th of July, you shot everything, and then it was over. Now it's a whole month of your neighborhood just shooting, and it's like, guys, it's June 2nd. Really?
And I'll offer this. I know this is a unique, it's a more selfish thing. I have 3 dogs. Fireworks are a nightmare on pets. I don't like anything about them. And I'm a Giants fan. Jason Pierre-Paul blew his hand off. I don't like fireworks.
Just don't pull a Jeff Rieger.
But the weather's overrated. We never get a good weather. Look at this week. It's going to thunderstorm. It's going to be nice all week when we're in office. Then we get to the 4th of July. It's fugazi. It looks like it's going to be thunderstorms.
That's why I can bench the weather. But the grilling, okay, you can brave it out. You can grill in the rain. You bring it in the house. It's fantastic.
How depressing.
And speaking of the grilling, best 4th of July food, burgers, dogs, ribs. Start, bench, cut.
Oh, that's evil. Those are all 3 premium suggestions. Oh, jeez.
I'm going to go with I am starting ribs. I'm benching burgers. And sorry, Kenny, I'm cutting dogs.
I'm going to do it the other way. In honor of Kenny, the hot dog wins this 4th of July. I'll bench the burgers only because of time. And if you have a crowd, this is not something I want to make 5, 6, 7 racks of. I'll cut the ribs. The ribs are for a small gathering.
I was about to say, it's for a small ribs is when you have people you truly appreciate.
Right. You're not doing ribs for 20 people.
No. If this is like, big company. No. Burgers, dogs. Oh, I actually like you. You get ribs. If I really like you, you get baby back ribs.
And that is start, bench, cut.
It's outstanding work.
Love it, Paul.
All right. If you've been thinking of upgrading your vehicle, Moran Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 selling Chevy dealer. 2 years in a row. Well-qualified buyers get 0% APR, 5 years on every Equinox, Trax, and light-duty Silverado in stock. And it gets better. You buy now, you don't make payments till after Labor Day. So you could take new retail delivery by July 7th, and you are ready to go. It's the deal of summer, where you always get the best price period. Shop online anytime, MoranExpress.com, or stop by on Gratiot, just north of 15 Mile in Clinton Township. It's Moran Chevrolet, again, where you always get the best price period. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. All right, Paulie, a few texts if you don't mind, brother. And again, I was just talking with Tim Jeske, who just came in for the night shift, and we were talking about Kenny. Just if you missed it, Odyssey.com rewind. You can listen to the start of the show. And respectfully, we didn't want to do video. Hard enough to just kind of get through it, but just our words about Kenny and his passing, and just. No, and again, I have no idea what we're going to do. Now's not the appropriate time. It'll be a while for that. But it's just horrible. It's shocking. We're heartbroken. So you can listen to it. If you're just joining the show, I didn't want to leave without.
No. Now I feel bad because I had something for you. So
no, you can just say it. We've tried to thread a needle all day. Well, I understand.
Paul and I talked. I think we should do one more of the start, bench, cut.
Okay.
Oh, from what we were talking about during the break.
Worst offseason, Terrion Arnold, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Vrabel.
Okay, this is going to sound like I didn't put thought into it, but I promise you I did. There's like no question. The guy facing life in prison wears that crown. We're just going to go there. Ayuk costing himself a professional future isn't the same as potentially blowing up your family. I'm going to go Vrabel too.
But if
I just want to rewind.
Okay.
You were on a boat with a woman in her third trimester, and she's not married to you.
So
Yet that kid was named after you. You got some splaining to do. I'm going to just say Ayuk in the melting ice cream cone.
Cut. Okay. Well, we were just trying to figure it out in the break. Like,
that's brutal.
Huh.
That's brutal. But yeah, I mean, Arnold is facing 8 felonies and life in prison. I mean, that's
allegedly.
Oh, I said he's facing.
Yes, right. I just want to make sure that but I guess Ayuk is technically costing himself and his family money.
Right, but he didn't.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. He's just having a meltdown.
Forgive me, I don't know.
Brandon
He's having a
Ayuk's
meltdown. Dating situation.
I think he's married.
Does he have children?
He's an NFL player, I'm assuming, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll just leave that.
I just don't understand why he doesn't have someone in his life that could talk to him about it and be like, hey.
Yeah.
I promise you he has, and you know what that person has been told? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Whenever people say, I know what I'm doing, they have no idea what they're doing. So, all right, just wanted to throw that out
No,
there.
you're fine. Hey, listen.
It was funny. We laughed about it in the break.
There's no roadmap to do what we did today. We tried to thread a needle. Buddy, trust me. We're all just working our way, figuring it out. So you're fine. I told you you'd enjoy Paul's game. I've heard him do it on Saturdays. I'm just glad he finally blessed us with that today. And thank you. And shout out to David. David wanted to come in, and he did for the first hour. He was on vacation this week. There's no way we were going to open the show without David being here. I mean, David sits 3 feet from Kenny 25 hours a week. So it was very nice of David.
Yeah, and
I apologize to David if I bought his kid too much candy.
You did.
We were trying to get the kid to behave, and he was getting to be a bit of a liability. So I brought back like a gaggle of candy from the bistro, and I go, here you go, buddy. And David looked at me like, what did you just do?
Here's how you know you had too much candy. He was like, Dad, I can't eat all this.
I tried to I just wanted to buy David.
Pacify the kid.
I had to.
Get him through the experience.
I had to.
And real quick, and Jake, thanks a lot for sifting through everything today, and appreciate your stepping up today.
Yeah, appreciate everybody. Mark, welcome.
Gentlemen, I commend you for what you did do, because I think all of us were wondering even how to do today.
There's
right?
no roadmap.
How do you do it? And then surviving as you did for 4 hours. Kenny was such an honest guy. He would be honest about everything, right? Like,
Too much.
Right. Like if you did well, he would let you know. If you did poorly, he'd let you know. I had an opportunity to fill in for you in April.
Yeah.
And, with what you guys have built on this show, my aim was just try not to burn the building down. Try to uphold the standard that you guys have kept. And at the end of the week, Kenny had a kind word for me, and it meant the world then. And honestly, it means even more now. And the synergy that you two had together comedically,
you can't replace it.
was incredible. I mean, it was ESP times 10.
It wasn't a seamless thing. Like, you know, I said this to his wife, and I said it to him, so I can say it here. Is like I was hard on him because he had ability that he didn't realize he had, and he finally started to like grab the rope. And like I brought it up as like former producer and my boy Matt Derry, like Dees was amazing with drops, because drops, anybody can just hammer on the drop board, but like the timing.
Yep.
Kenny was an assassin, and it was great is that he would kill me and it just added it's like he was developing. And the Saturday shows, and Stoney came in, and it's just, I get so upset, Mark, because there are bad people in this world.
Yep.
And you look and you go, why Kenny?
Yep.
Kenny was a lot of things. Bad wasn't one of them. And you just like, he doesn't get to see it through, and he doesn't get to. I firmly believe, and I thank God I said it to him before he got sick, and I was like, dude, you can do this if you just commit to it. You're going to be on it. You're doing it. And it just, there's a number of heartbreaking elements of it, but that bothers me as someone who sat here and for years I hammered on him. Like, dude, you can do this. You just got to decide if you want it. And it's like, I wish he got to see it through.
Understood. He got to work with the best afternoon drive show in America for 6 years.
Well, that's
right?
nice.
So to both of you, he got that experience for 6 years.
He helped make us. He helped
Right.
make it that way. Mark,
And-
you know how I
Yeah.
like to run things, and Rico likes to run things. Is we don't do gatekeeping. Other shows can do whatever they want. I like everyone to feel like I always yell at Paul when Paul comes in. I go, "Don't ask permission to talk. The mic is yours. Just do it. Just go." I like it.
Did you just hear the conversation we just had?
What?
Me and Paul. Like, we just had that conversation.
Because you know how, dude, I like everyone to participate because I do think it's strength in
Right.
numbers. And I think everybody can bring something. And it's just, it took Kenny a bit to get comfortable. And man, it breaks me up. It's like he had so much more to give. And it just breaks my heart because it's like, no, Mark, it takes years to develop.
Yep.
It takes time. And it just,
He had those moments on the board where you're like, that was so fast and it
Yes.
worked so perfectly.
he had
How
the
on earth did he
comedic-
do that?
He had the timing.
Yeah.
And it's awful. So I
it was
appreciate
funny.
your kind words.
He
Today,
would always come after you. Because I was like, hey, Kenny, you were like, God, do that for him.
his anti-Italian drops will sorely be missed.
You're like, yeah, Kenny, I dare you to do it to Rico. Go ahead.
What? Because I was the cover of a pizza box to him, and it was great. And I'm going to miss the hell out of it. So, I didn't mean to take up.
No
more time.
problem at all, guys. No
Ma-
problem.
Mark Ryan is next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.